My New Life in a Lawless World by Moffat, 1990. Chapter 2. Shadows of Change. It had been 14 years since Kier was born into this lawless world, and much had changed in that time. He was no longer a helpless newborn, but a talented young man with a passion for magic and a burning desire to make the world a better place. Standing in the middle of the lush forest, Kier was engrossed in a challenge set by his daily quest. Today's task was to push the limits of his barrier skill, testing how many protective shields he could create and sustain. He focused intently as he summoned a series of barriers, each one shimmering with solidified air. The barriers formed a complex network around him, reflecting his concentration and determination. Each barrier cost him only 2 MP, a small fraction of his total 100 MP, and he maintained several simultaneously with ease. His goal was to see how many he could create before his MP started to drain. The barriers shifted and adapted to his commands, providing effective protection and control over the space. Despite the low MP cost, Kier was keenly aware of his resources. The real challenge was in managing his MP efficiently and knowing when to stop to avoid running out. The system prompt appeared before him. Daily mission complete. 5 XP awarded. Kier, catching his breath, mused, I wonder why these daily quest missions didn't start appearing until after my 14th birthday. Maybe it's a sign that my capabilities are now being recognized by the system. Opening his eyes, he saw Mira standing nearby, observing him with a mix of approval and disapproval. She had been his mentor and guide for as long as he could remember, teaching him the ways of magic and guiding him towards a path of righteousness. Excellent work, Kier, Mira said, her voice firm but kind. Your barriers are impressive. You are a prodigy, no doubt about it. Kier's heart skipped a beat at her praise, and he felt a surge of pride and excitement. He had always admired Mira, not just for her beauty and grace, but for her strength and wisdom. She was the one who would help him achieve his goal of bringing order to the chaotic world around them. With a sly grin, he tried to flirt with her, hoping to win her over with his charm and wit. So, Mira, what do you think? Am I the best mage you've ever seen? Mira raised an eyebrow, unimpressed. Don't get ahead of yourself, kid. You're good, but you still have much to learn. Undeterred, Kier persisted. Come on, Mira, admit it. You're impressed by my skills. You know that we're meant to be together. Mira let out a sigh and shook her head, a hint of amusement in her eyes. You never give up, do you? But you should focus on your training, not on trying to win my heart. Kier's determination only grew stronger, and he leaned in, trying to kiss her. But before he could make contact, Mira delivered a powerful punch to his head. Kier crashed to the ground, rubbing his sore head. Ouch, that really hurt. System: 15 GP lost from attack. Only 15 GP. Mira must have been holding back big time. He felt embarrassed and humiliated, but couldn't deny the truth in her words. Mira was right, but he couldn't help the way he felt. He was drawn to her in a way he couldn't explain, and knew he would never give up trying to win her over. Mira's voice cut through Kier's thoughts. Kier, I need you to go to the river near the town and catch some water slimes. The one we had turned into a mud slime, and we need fresh water to bathe. As Mira spoke, a system prompt flashed in Kier's vision. Quest available, gather water slimes. Objective, catch water slimes from the river. Reward, 5 XP. Accept quest? Yes. No. Kier groaned in irritation but accepted the quest. Ugh, fine, but only because you asked nicely, he said as he pretended to go inside to get his protective gear. Obviously, traveling through this world required caution, and he needed the gear, but he had been keeping a secret from Mira. She knew nothing about his system. Kier opened his system and went to the gear section, selecting the items he needed. After confirming his selection, the items materialized in his hands. Man, that never gets old, said Kier as he ran back outside and took off toward the village. Mira watched him run off with a mix of admiration and nostalgia. His youthful determination and eagerness reminded her of someone she hadn't thought about in years. Kier glanced back at Mira and waved. His dark hair, cut short for practicality, and his strong, athletic build spoke of his rigorous training. His hazel-green eyes and light brown skin were a stark contrast to his mother's light complexion and golden eyes, yet his face bore a striking resemblance to her. Elma had been known for her grace and strength, and seeing Keir now was a poignant reminder of the past. Despite their differences in eye color and skin tone, Keir's angular features and determined expression marked him as her child, a living echo of his mother's legacy. Mira remembered Elma as a fierce and compassionate woman, a warrior who had once been a beacon of hope. Keir's presence brought back those memories, and she hoped he would live up to the legacy his mother had left behind. With a sigh, Mira watched Keir disappear into the distance, her thoughts lingering on the connection between the young man and his mother. She hoped that despite the harsh world around him, Keir could find his own path to greatness and bring about the change he so desperately sought. As he walked to the town, he pulled a necklace from under his shirt, revealing a pendant with an image of his mother. He thought about how much he missed her. It had been about 6 years now since she passed away, and he had been living with Mira ever since. As Keir entered the village, he observed a community clinging to a fragile existence. The structures were rudimentary and poorly maintained, reflecting the villagers' scarce resources. Despite the lack of formal governance, the village had managed to survive under the shadow of Brax the Axe, an infamous figure known for his massive arms and formidable axe swings, enhanced by powerful magic. His sheer strength had deterred outsiders from attacking, providing the villagers with an indirect sense of protection. Brax had shown little concern for his followers, aside from demanding that they supply him with food and clothing. For the most part, the villagers were left to fend for themselves, surviving in the harsh conditions as long as they met his minimal demands. The protection they received was more from the fear his reputation instilled in potential threats rather than any active effort on his part to safeguard them. With Brax recently defeated, the land had come under the control of some new guy named Valentinus. The villagers, however, were skeptical and anxious. They feared that Valentinus, who was rumored to be weak and kind-hearted, might not offer the same deterrent to outsiders. Many believed his victory over Brax was a fluke and worried that his presence might jeopardize the tenuous stability they had managed to sustain under Brax's dominance. The village was thus in a state of uncertainty, grappling with the shift from Brax's reign to the unpredictable future under Valentinus. And unknown to Keir, he happened to be visiting the village today, and the people were on edge. Keir kept his head down, listening to the whispers about Valentinus. The villagers spoke in hushed tones, expressing skepticism about their new leader. "So that's Valentinus?" one person muttered. "I heard he's weak and kind-hearted," said another. "What a joke," scoffed a third. Valentinus dismounted from his horse and introduced himself. Keir couldn't help but notice that Valentinus stood out from the crowd with his surprisingly well-kept appearance. Despite the chaos around him, he maintained a sense of order. His long blonde hair was neatly tied back in a ponytail, and his clothes, though simple, were clean and well-maintained. He had a lean build and was tall, with a sharp, strong jaw and a kind face. His blue eyes were striking but not overly remarkable, and while he wasn't exceptionally attractive, he was certainly good-looking. Keir could understand why they were concerned. Valentinus had a very unassuming demeanor, and his appearance made it hard to believe he had the ability to defeat someone like Brax. He did not look particularly powerful or imposing. Then someone from the crowd screamed out and asked, "What are you doing there?" Valentinus explained that he had been traveling around since taking over the land from Brax, inspecting this new land to understand its people and their needs. Suddenly, someone threw a tomato at him, hitting him square in the face. "He is soft, just like they said," someone else yelled, and the crowd erupted in anger, shouting and jeering. "Get out of here!" someone yelled. Valentinus wiped the tomato off his face, but did not retaliate. The people continued to hurl insults and accusations, doubting his ability to lead and fearing for their future. Keir, watching from the sidelines, felt a bit of empathy. For the first time in his life, outside of Mira and his late mother, he encountered someone who seemed genuinely kind and compassionate in the face of adversity. Then, without warning, robed assassins emerged from the crowd, brandishing knives. Keir's system flashed open. Alert. Danger, hostile intentions sensed. Without any hesitation, Kier activated his pressure burst skill, a surge of pressurized force erupting beneath his feet. The sudden burst of speed propelled him forward with astonishing agility, allowing him to close the distance between himself and the attackers in an instant. As he charged into action, he summoned a protective barrier with his barrier skill, which shimmered and deflected the assassin's blades.